Mensa, Abantu, Abato. If there's one blessing that we have to count, that we'd better count pretty fast, it's the glories of 11 official languages. Because let's be truthful, not a lot of them are long for this world. A new praise song to South African English is on the forward click circuit. As usual, it survives by stealing Afrikaans, which is really quite funny. When we Sotis must communicate in Afrikaans, we're proud to manage Goeiemorgen or buy a donkey. But give us a good punchy Afrikaans word to drop into a comfortably English sentence, and we wave it like a banner, claiming it as our own. This new paean has its quota of traditional swear word stuff, like how "you'll see your gat" is allegedly so much more expressive than English, or for that matter American English. Well, I'm not really sold on that one, I might tell you. But it also goes into terrain that I hadn't known. A word that is alone worth the price of admission is binnebandlose buiteband. Binnebandlose buiteband. Outside tire without inside tire. That's more conventionally translated, I suppose, as tubeless tire. 8 easy syllables, plausible and poetic. Intriguingly, my Reader's Digest 1987 Woordeboek ignores the tubeless tire and indeed apparently shies away from it. I suppose you can imagine people fearing that the word would be used to make Afrikaans look silly. Maybe you'd imagine that easier in Skunk Area 1987 than you would today. So the dictionary has lumpy, ligbuislose band and blootsband. I can't imagine anybody actually saying that. And it passes up an exhilarating invitation to make Afrikaans sound musical. Mind you, even delicious binnebandlose buiteband can't get many spoken airings now that the norm requires every Afrikaans sentence to have 20% folk, 10% kak, and 30% English. Though there is a redeeming feature in that. It makes your average overheard street exchange sound like a mongrel barking, but it also, daarom, like a word, makes the rare, beautifully spoken Afrikaans ultra beautiful. That absent tube also puts into mind the tale of the customer who approaches Paardevraklaagte spare parts and asks for a binneband. The assistant cocks an ear and says, "Excuse me, meneer?" The customer says, "A binneband asseblief." The assistant says, "Wat se ding sê meneer?" The customer is getting a little snappy now. He says, "Man, gee my mos a tube." To which the assistant responds, "Seker, a tube. Hoekom praat jy nie in die first place Afrikaans nie?" Which, dear person suckling with us, is a double whack. He's taking a whack at the assistant for being so familiar with the English word that he thinks it's Afrikaans, and secondly, he's unwittingly using English in reprimanding the other guy for not speaking Afrikaans. I'd assumed that was a good joke, though of course it was a joke, made up like any joke, until I told it to the guys at Dave Miller Motors in Boysons some while ago. Dave trumped it with a real-life tale of a country customer pitching up there at his Jaguar garage, pitching up at a spares department with a quizzical expression and a polite request. "Ach man, sorry man," said the customer. "I don't know what is this thing in English, but in Afrikaans it's carburetor." Afrikaans remains pretty full of delight despite its embattlement. I'm sorry that they've officially chickened out of the old formula of one word for one concept, so that Wêreldligteswag Woegkampioenskap and Silver Jakkalsvel Kombers will never be joined by younger giants. And I'm sorry to see that the internet's allegedly champion Afrikaans word is 136 letters that isn't a word at all, just a complicated contortion that somebody made up after 3 beers to enter a longest word competition that should have kicked it out. We don't need phony. The real is good enough and is getting better. Just look at buzzbike or motor scooter. In Afrikaans it's brompony, vroom, vroom pony. And Zulu has onomatopoeic isi-tu-tu-tu. All hard T's a la time or tie, not thunder or theatre. That is not one but 2 world great word prizes coming from right here south of the Limpopo. And I recently heard someone talk of a speed hump as a slanggraffie, snake's grave. Yes, mense, what class we have, whether Anglicans or Afro-Zulu English or what.